Hey, Leroy, turn it on. Okay, Uncle Shady.
You're listening to BWWR, the Banger Worldwide Radio Network.
The John Lebang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Scheduled programming to bring you a show on the edge, broadcasting worldwide and out to the greater universe. You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Greetings, Earthlings, and alert the media. I'm John Lebang, and welcome to my show. Hello, my friends. Welcome to another week of Sonic Vibrations right here on the Radio Revolution John Lebang Show. We got a vast array of subjects headed your way. In the second hour, we have a guest. His name is Mike Peter. He's the manager of IRN Radio in Tampa, Florida. We're going to bring him in, probably talk about internet radio, talk about Star Trek. We're going to probably even talk about the president. I don't know what we'll talk about. We'll get to that in the second hour. Here in the first hour, we're going to talk about the new report that came out of the government. Pretty much showing James Comey was playing some manipulative games in the investigation of Hillary Clinton. And we'll get to that at some point. We're also going to talk about the 50 worst cities to live in the United States, which should be interesting. Hopefully you're not living in one of those top 50 cities. I can't say I'm not. And we'll touch on a bunch of other news that are making the headlines. Before we get to that, though, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to go over our upcoming summer schedule, just in case you missed it last week. We're heading into our summer schedule here on the John Lebang Show, and what that means is we're going to have some summer vacation time for the banger, because he works hard all year, ladies and gentlemen. And not to sound narcissistic, because anytime somebody talks about themselves, the butthurt people say, oh, that person's being narcissistic. Oh, like promoting yourself and talking about what you do and what you're happy about doing is narcissistic. No, I don't think so. It's called promoting yourself, telling people what's going on so they know what's happening. But you know, the butt hurters out there, there's a lot of them. They can't handle that because they've got nothing going on. It's always the people that have nothing going on that get butt hurt about the people that have things going on. And they get mad because you're not including them. And then when they get mad at you for it, well, you go, well, guess what? You're not included because either you didn't want to be included or you're just not worthy of being on what we're doing, being part of what's happening. Maybe you're a negative Nelly, because there are a lot of those out there. And the ones that hate narcissists, you know, there's a balance there. It's like, you know, there's a slight difference between genius and insanity. It's the same way. There's a fine line between narcissism and promoting yourself. You're allowed to promote yourself, ladies and gentlemen, so that's what we're going to do right here. Our summer scheduling goes as follows. Next week, we're going to give you 2 brand new episodes, including a special report on Milton William Cooper. The week after that, we're going to have Derek Shelmerdine coming in to talk about a little bit of rock and roll unraveled, maybe the best 50 albums of all time. I think that's what's on the agenda. We're also going to have, in hour number 2, Bangerverse Volume 1. Yes, we're going back into the archives, ladies and gentlemen, because we'll be heading into the 4th of July week, and we want to give you special broadcasting, and we want to take a little time for ourselves. The week after the 4th, we'll be giving you a special broadcast of The Invaders from Alien X Part 1 and 2, and that'll take place in both the first and second hour. The following week in episode 296, that'll be a brand new episode, and that'll be in the first hour. In hour number 2, you'll be experiencing a hell of a shady experience. If you haven't caught that one before, it's worth tuning into. And if you have listened to it before, you know you're going to listen in again because, man, that's a funny special. The following week in the first hour will be episode 297. We'll be having a normal episode, brand new stuff, talking about whatever subjects are on the to-do list. In hour number 2, you'll be getting Bangerverse Volume 2. The following week, we're going to have Derek Shelmerdine in for episode 298, more rock and roll unraveled for you. And in the second hour, we're going to have Captain Rainbow Civil War. Just want to make sure that everybody understands that these next 2 rock and roll unravels with Derek Shelmerdine will happen in the first hour and not in the normal second hour. So please make a note of that. Our first episode in the first hour of August will be episode 299. That will be our final broadcast of the season. After that, we go on a little bit of summer vacation, but that doesn't mean the John Lebang Show won't be on, because in the second hour, you're going to get Bangerverse Volume 3. The following week, you're going to get Destiny Wars Part 1 and Part 2. See, when we go on vacation, ladies and gentlemen, when we take a small break to recharge our batteries, to redo the studio, which is something we're going to do again. We're always redoing the studio because we got to get it better and better and better, ladies and gentlemen. But when we do take these small vacations, we don't just play a rerun of a best of. No, we give you the best of the best John Lebang stuff, and that's the Bangerverse stuff. So you'll be getting all the specials, all the intense broadcasts, all the great comedies that we have produced over the years during that time period. The following week after the Destiny Wars will be Bangerverse Volume 4 and 5, and that'll transpire in the first and second hour. The following week after that, you're going to get Shady and the Mystery Freaks in the first hour, and then Bangerverse 6 in the second hour. The following week, which is getting close to the end of August, will be a replay of the magnificent Virtual Infinity. And then when we return in September, which will be the following week, we'll be back for the second hour. But in the first hour, you're going to get Bangerverse 7, which you haven't heard yet. You may have heard little bits and pieces throughout all the broadcasts, but it will come together in one magnificent hour of special broadcasting. So that's it. And when we do return in September, that first week of September, it'll be our 300th broadcast. And we're going to have special guests that evening. I know Jonathan Rios of 920 WON The Apple will be joining us, as will a bunch of other guests that we're going to book in. We may even have special artists in studio. We don't know yet. We're trying to get things all ready. But that's all the way in September, and we're still in June. And we've got a bunch of things to cover. We're going to go over the FBI investigation. I should say the investigation into the FBI and James Comey. In the second segment, we might have to go into the third segment because there's a lot to discuss there. There's a whole lot to discuss there. Like I said, we're going to be talking about the 50 worst places to live in the United States. And it's interesting what city and states made the top 10, and we'll get into that at some point. But since we have a little time, I thought we'd go out to your phone calls because we know you have something to say. So dial us up on that secret banger hotline. You can get that on the website, www.jlebang.com. And if you don't go to that banger website, you're not going to find out all the latest information on what's going on with the John Lebang Show. Going out to Pepper in Chicago.
Oh, honey, I can't hear you on the radio anymore.
Well, Pepper, we're looking for an affiliate out in Chicago right now.
That's good, babies. Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
That ditch is stupid, you know. She talking about my cottage cheese. Well, I tell you what, babies, I'd rather be playing with real cottage cheese than those silicone fat lips she got. She be so ugly, and no baby daddies be wanting her.
Okay, Pepper, thanks for your call. Up next is Shady, calling from Detroit.
Jones.
Shady.
Listen here, John. I got a question for you.
What's that, Shady?
Do you know a good pizza place around here?
Well, there's that Muhammad shop down the street.
No, they don't have pepperoni, John. John, do you believe Hillary Clinton was mocking James Comey?
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter. I actually replied to her tweet.
It's like criminal on criminal tweeting, John.
Hey, I know, Shady. I mean, Hillary's got nothing to say in this. Now that we know Comey was doing what he was doing, she's going to get reinvestigated.
This time when she falls on her face, there ain't going to be a call to save her.
All right, Shady, thanks for your call. Our next call going out to Canada. Gordy, you're on the John Lebang Show.
How come you're not in Canada, eh?
I don't know. Most of the Canadian stations that I've contacted have been real snobby with me.
Oh, we're not snobby, eh?
Listen, like I've said before, I have Canadian relatives. I know exactly how Canadians act.
Oh, we're nice people, eh?
Whatever you say. Thanks for your call. Going out to Boston, Massachusetts, Carrie. Welcome back to the show. Okay, well, thanks for your call. Just let me fill you in on what has happened just in this past week. We were picked up by 3 new stations, one in Germany, RCFM. We were picked up in Georgia on Rockin' Waves 11294. And we were picked up in Boston on GAG 109 FM. So if you have a Facebook page and you want to like those pages, go to our page on Facebook and look them up and like their page because they need our support because we're growing as a family. Our affiliate stations are now in 5 countries. We cover almost all the major markets inside the United States. We're in Florida, we're in New York, we're in California, we're in Seattle, Detroit. We're everywhere. You can find us in Connecticut, Maine, Florida, which happens to be our most popular area, believe it or not. I'm going to have to visit down there one day, go down to Florida, and see all the people that are writing into the show and all the bands that have been sending in their music from Florida. I'm going to have to go down there and visit these people because they're off the charts great, including, our biggest affiliate down there, Bubba Army Radio. I want to give them a big shout out because, without them, we wouldn't be getting the huge, giant numbers we are getting. We're also on IRN Radio, which we're going to meet Mike Peter in the second hour and talk to him about whatever. We might even talk Rush and music. I don't know what we're going to talk about. It's going to be some random talk radio, I'm sure. Because knowing Mike, he's a lot like me. We start somewhere, and then we go off the rails, and we drive around a while, and then we finally make our way back to what we were talking about. But on the way, we took the scenic route. We're also on Rat Pack Radio down there and Tampa Bay FM. They've been really great themselves because they've been promoting the living crap out of us. So thanks to everybody down there in Florida. We could sit here and give shout-outs to just about every station that we are a part of because they're all great, and we seem to be growing all together, which is what it's all about in this new medium of internet radio and podcasting. And since it's all kind of put together because the mainstreamers don't like the idea of podcast and internet radio taking over their control of everybody's ears. But we're coming, baby. We're coming. The radio revolution is on the way, being led by yours truly. We got to take our first time out, ladies and gentlemen. We're right up against the break. But when we return, we're going to talk about that report about James Comey and the FBI right after this. Don't go anywhere now.
John will be right back right after this.
Yes, he will. Check out the new book from Derek Shelmerdine,
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It tells the story of rock and roll from its roots right up until the mid-'70s punk.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Not just the music, but also the events that shaped the music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It includes the backgrounds to recording sessions, singles, album releases, births and deaths, epic concerts, and festivals.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Shelmerdine has made a painstaking effort to document pretty much every event that would prove significant in shaping popular music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Purchase the book at www.rockandrollunraveled.com. Follow them at Twitter at R&R Unraveled and look them up on Facebook at Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
By author Derek Shelmerdine.
Available now.
Hey, man, you're listening to the John Lebang Show, man.
The place where chronic brain cells